Hello and welcome back to Stop and Go F1 for this, our reaction to the Dutch Grand Prix qualifying session. A very interesting one there, which should make for a very fun race tomorrow. Before we get into that, make sure you like and subscribe. Of course, those are the rules. You should know this by now. And also a big shout out to our members, the Joyous James, Dakota, Robin Myers, and Sarah Strubble. I'm checking again. It is Strubble. I always think it's not Strubble. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. Let me know if I am. But there you go. If you want to become a member, there's a link in the description. You too can get a lovely little shout out on our videos here. But let's get into what was quite an interesting qualifying. And before we even get there, we have to talk about Logan Sargeant, because he had a huge crash in FP3, a very wet FP3, got caught out, had a big old spin, hit the wall massively. One of the rear wheels comes flying off, car is basically destroyed. I throw my pen away, I'm that excited, don't worry, I have a backup pen. So car is basically destroyed, car is set on fire. That's how hard that hit was. I don't think he even realised the car was on fire for a while because he was just sat in there. Thankfully, Logan is okay. He was seen later on walking back to the pits. He even had time to take a little selfie with one of the fans. But a huge hit for him, which means that he is not participating in qualifying today. And it really is up in the air as to if he'll compete in the race at all, because it was quite damaged there. James Vowles seems to think that it should be okay, but we know what Williams are like. We know from my pen away again. That's the second pen. I don't have a backup pen. I do. I have another pen. Don't worry, everyone. So, yeah, we saw, go back to Australia, where Sargeant crashed in practice. They didn't have the spare chassis then, so Sargeant didn't compete at all in that race weekend. So who knows what will happen there, because that looks like a hell of a big job for the Williams mechanics overnight. Let's go into Q1 though. The only real talking point was there is a little incident between Hamilton and Perez, where Perez says that Hamilton was impeding him. I mean, I can see what he's saying, but personally I don't think any penalty will come from that. I think Hamilton tried his best to get out of the way, but it's a hard track to get out of the way. So I think that would be quite foolish if a penalty came to Hamilton from there. And no spoilers, but Hamilton really does not need a penalty as it is. So out in Q1 firstly was Logan Sargeant, who didn't set a time. Zhou was 19th, Bottas 18th, Ocon 17th, and then Daniel Ricciardo in 16th place. As we go into Q2 though, there are a few threats of rain. It's been raining basically all weekend. I think FP2 had no rain as the only session up until now which had no rain. The rain doesn't affect qualifying though, which is a shame. We would like to see that. But the big shock though in Q2 is some of the names that went out. So firstly, Magnussen and Hulkenberg are 15th and 14th. Yuki Tsunoda in 13th place. But then Lewis Hamilton is out in 12th place, followed by Carlos Sainz in 11th. Two big hitters there not making it through into Q3 were the likes of Alexander Albon, Pierre Gasly, Lance Stroll, a few names there that you would expect who maybe might not make it through, have gone through into the final part of qualifying whilst these two are out. And it's not a great track to qualify low at. It's, there are overtaking zones. Obviously into turn one is very good off that banked curve down the straight. You can overtake here. It's not a track where it's impossible to overtake, but it is a hell of a lot more difficult than some other places. So a big job on the cards for tomorrow for both Hamilton and Sainz. I was most shocked at Hamilton, though, because the Mercedes, I would have said going into this session, was the second fastest car on the grid. I put the McLaren as number one. I would have put the Mercedes as number two. So I think there's more than meets the eye to what happened with Hamilton there. I wouldn't be surprised if something comes out later on that there was something not quite right with Hamilton's car for that one. Hopefully, whatever it is, they can get on top of it. So tomorrow, he's in fighting form to deliver some good points. So let's go into Q3 now, and to start the session, only 6 cars went out, but this was the top 6, let's say, after those lap times were set. Gasly was 6th, Leclerc in 5th, Russell 4th, Verstappen 3rd, Piastri 2nd, Lando Norris 1st. Then the Aston did do this thing that they like to do every now and again, where instead of having a lap time at the start of the session, refueling, then having a lap time at the end of the session, they go slap bang in the middle. So they're not going to get impeded, but it's not the track at its peak performance in terms of track evolution. But they go out there, and Alonso puts it 5th, Stroll in 7th. Then everyone else comes back out again and sets a lap time, and this is our top 10 for tomorrow. So Pierre Gasly is in 10th. No surprises there. The Alpine hasn't looked good this weekend. To be even in Q3 is very good for Pierre Gasly, especially when his teammate is 17th. So Gasly can be very happy with 10th place there. Stroll ended up in 9th, and Albon a fantastic 8th place in this newly upgraded Williams car. Alonso is 7th. Leclerc is 6th. Perez, actually quite a good spot here in 5th place for Perez there. Russell 4th, Piastri in 3rd, then Max Verstappen in P2. Lando Norris takes pole position for the Dutch Grand Prix in what I think should be a very fun race. I reckon we've got 4 drivers there who can win this in terms of Norris, Verstappen, Piastri and Russell. If Perez can actually do something here, that'd be very interesting to watch. He hasn't been on the pace of those top 5 drivers for quite some time now, but if he can be in the mix there, that would be really interesting to watch. Of course, you've got someone like Leclerc there as well. I don't think the Ferrari is anywhere near the likes of your Red Bull, Mercedes or McLarens, but that could be interesting as well. Hamilton's interesting to watch come through, see where he can finish. But the most interesting of all is that front row. Max Verstappen in P2 has won the last 3 races here since its big comeback. I think it hadn't been used since 1985, then came back in 2021. And since that comeback, Max has won every single race here. His home race, of course, so he'll be an interesting one to keep an eye on. And then Lando Norris in pole position. Personally, I feel the McLaren is the faster car of the two. Of the entire grid, I think the McLaren is the faster. But there is that haunting statistic for Lando Norris that every time he has had pole position, he has not led the race at the end of lap 1. So Lando Norris, his starts have had an eye on them. I mean, even on Sky Sports F1 this week, they've been talking about Lando Norris's bad starts. So that's how visible it has become that the British media is saying Lando Norris's bad starts. So I imagine that will also be on his mind tomorrow, and we know what Lando's like. When there's something that's on his head, it just tends to get a little bit worse. So I would not be surprised if Lando Norris is not leading the race at the end of lap 1 this time tomorrow. But as I said, I still think the McLaren is the faster of the 2 cars. There's no rain predicted, I think, so it should just be a pretty straightforward race. Whoever is fastest, whoever gets the most out of the strategy, it should be really interesting and really close. I cannot wait. We'll be here to discuss all of it tomorrow, right here on Stop and Go F1. We'll also be discussing all things F1 Academy, which is making its return tomorrow as well. So all that to come. Let me know who you think is going to win the race tomorrow. A really interesting thing, though, that I need to share with you is this. I bought this notepad at the start of the year. If we go to the front page, it is my notes from F1 testing day 1. I have now filled out every page of this notepad with notes watching this year, so I need to get a new notepad to write stuff down for tomorrow. I will search and find one, I promise you that. That will be tomorrow though. Until then, have a good one. I'll see you then. Goodbye.